let's jump right in. Today's explainer is all about the parable of the three carts, an absolutely foundational concept in Eastern philosophy, widely known in its traditional texts as Triyana Upamaya. For centuries, this profound allegory has been the master key used to decode the very nature of human existence, our spiritual growth, and the ultimate truth of reality itself. So we're going to completely unpack this ancient text and see exactly how it maps out the elevation of human consciousness. Okay, let's dive into this with a high-stakes dilemma. Picture this. You're standing outside a burning building. You know for a fact people are trapped inside, but when you scream at them to evacuate, they completely ignore you. They just don't comprehend the danger, and they flat out refuse to step out the door. So, what do? How do you save someone who doesn't even know they need saving? Well, this literal life or death scenario is exactly how ancient wisdom frames the human condition. To get the full picture, let's look at the scene exactly as it's laid out in the source texts. A wealthy father returns to his sprawling, magnificent mansion only to find the whole thing completely engulfed in flames. But the real nightmare here isn't the fire itself, it's that his children are still trapped inside. And the wildest part? They're just running around, playing with their toys, blissfully oblivious to the literal mortal danger surrounding them. The father calls out, frantically warning them about the fire, but they're so distracted by their worldly games, and honestly so ignorant of what a fire even is, that they won't listen. They just refuse to leave. So the father has to think fast. He realizes that logic and fear simply are not going to work on oblivious kids. Instead, he pulls off a brilliant psychological tactic. From outside the burning gates, he yells, "Look, the most magnificent toys! A sheep cart, a deer cart, and a white ox cart! Come out and claim them!" He completely shifts gears. By promising them exactly what they want, perfectly tailored to their childish desires, it works like a charm. The kids, totally eager to get their hands on these amazing new toys, immediately drop what they're doing and rush out of the burning mansion to safety. Now, the genius behind the father's little deception here is actually a massive cornerstone of Eastern philosophy. It's called upaya, or skillful means. Think of it as a highly adoptable practical method that enlightened teachers use to guide oblivious people to safety. See, the father didn't actually have those specific toy carts waiting outside. He used the illusion of them as an expedient device, a tool to achieve the ultimate goal of saving his kids' lives. It's all about meeting people exactly where they are, using a language of reward that they can actually understand. And this brilliantly illustrates how the allegory maps directly onto our own existence. It's like a giant puzzle coming together. The burning mansion, that represents the three realms, basically our physical world, which is constantly burning with suffering, impermanence, and our endless attachments. The oblivious children, yeah, that's us, sentient beings totally distracted by fleeting worldly pleasures. And those promised carts represent the three vehicles, which are distinct spiritual paths or religions, all tailor-made for our wildly different individual capacities. Let's actually break down those specific spiritual paths, the vehicles the father promised. First up is the sheep cart, or the Sravakayana. This is the hearer vehicle, meant for people who awaken spiritually by simply listening to fundamental teachings like cause and effect. Then you have the deer cart, the Pratyekabuddhayana. This is for the solitary realizers, those folks who figure out the truth by deeply observing the cycles of nature on their own. And finally, the ox cart, the Bodhisattvayana. This is the big one, for those whose capacity is so massive. They seek enlightenment not just for themselves, but literally to save all other beings. The whole point here is that teachings are divided into these three levels simply because, well, humans have vastly different levels of understanding. But here is the absolute kicker of the whole story. Once the kids are safely outside, coughing but alive, they ask their dad for those three different carts he promised. But the father doesn't give them a sheep cart, a deer cart, and an ox cart. No. Instead, he gives every single child the exact same reward, one identical, unbelievably magnificent white ox cart. He essentially bait and switched them, but gave them a gift infinitely better than what they asked for, completely regardless of their individual preferences. And the source texts go out of their way to describe this ultimate gift in the most vivid, opulent detail imaginable. I mean, we're not talking about a wooden toy here. This white ox cart is enormous. It's adorned with 7 precious, extremely rare jewels. It's topped with this stunning canopy and tricked out with plush red pillows for ultimate comfort. Plus, it's drawn by a pure white ox, which symbolizes absolute purity, with muscles of iron moving as fast as the wind. This imagery is highly specific because it emphasizes that this ultimate reward is of unfathomable value. It blows any earthly desire completely out of the water. So what does the spectacular white ox cart actually represent for us? It symbolizes the one Buddha vehicle, which is also referred to as the Great Tao. It is the ultimate universal truth. The really profound takeaway here is that while there seem to be countless different spiritual paths, religions, and practices in our world, they actually all converge into one supreme reality. At the end of the day, there's only one final destination for all of us. The core teachings spell this out perfectly. The three vehicles are provisional. The one vehicle is the ultimate truth. Meaning, all those different religious doctrines, the rituals, the dogmas, the sheep and the deer carts, they're all just skillful means. They are provisional tools. They're basically just life rafts created by enlightened teachers to coax us out of the burning house of our own suffering. They aren't the final truth themselves. The final destination is always the one vehicle. And this is exactly where this ancient wisdom gets super personal. This magnificent white ox cart, it isn't some literal jeweled carriage waiting for you up in the clouds. The texts explain that the cart actually represents discovering your own true self. It's the profound realization of your innate divine nature, your direct connection to the ultimate reality. It's the sudden, striking understanding that you are not just this physical body, which is essentially just a temporary rental car, but a boundless, eternal spirit. Ultimately, the greatest gift you could ever receive is simply waking up to who you truly are. So the multi-million-dollar question is, how do we actually claim our own white ox cart today? How do we get out of the burning mansion of modern life? Well, the sources tell us we have to conquer the three poisons that keep us locked inside. First, we ward off greed through strict personal discipline. Second, we calm our anger by actively cultivating deep inner serenity and patience. And finally, and most importantly, we eradicate ignorance, which is the root cause of all our suffering, by embracing true wisdom and understanding the reality of our true self. When we conquer these three things, we step right out of the fire. Which brings us to a final, vital thought I want to leave you with in this explainer. We are all inherently offered the magnificent white ox cart. That ultimate truth, the absolute highest potential of our true self, is sitting right there, waiting just outside the door. And yet, so often, we choose to stay inside the burning house. We just keep endlessly chasing those toy sheep and deer, the temporary worldly pleasures, the wealth, the status. So you really have to ask yourself, if the ultimate reality of the universe is out there, fully yours to claim, why do we still settle for the sheep?